Barnsdale. Mr. Coyote. Let me press the button. Bop. Boop. By the way, so we had a little copyright thingy again with this. Which here's the interesting thing. I'll talk about this for a second. So first of all, welcome back to the stream. We'll have box hype and movie hype tonight and all that. John Mullins, the guy. John Matrix, the other guy. The bucket hat of doom. I know. Why that hat? Is that his lucky terrorist murdering hat? Is that what that is? He looks like he's going to go fishing. No, I'll go hunt down some terrorists. So it's the Henry Blake hat. So anyway, so we had the stream there last Monday. Fine. Everything was good. It's part of the look, yeah. And then the stream last night, for some reason, got a little copyright notification on YouTube. There was like a minute of music. Now, the soundtrack you were just listening to, that was the music that I had on. It's actually from Perfect Dark. And I used that music in the stream last week. Didn't get any copyright notification. Did it in the stream last night, got a copyright notification. Just saying, they didn't say that I would be punished or anything, but it was just saying no one said anything, but there is a copyright thing there, and so that just somebody would have reason to go, hey you. So anyway, I just removed it. So tonight, well, earlier today, I went to the break music that I had from Perfect Dark, and I removed the music from that portion, which was only like a minute of music. And so you wouldn't have noticed in the music. It's pretty seamless. Where I did the edit, the music just continues, and you don't hear any difference, anything. So I'll be curious to see. It shouldn't trigger anything tonight because the music doesn't have that thing. And it's just it's like 1 minute of music from the Perfect Dark thing. I just don't get it. But I don't know if you could hear their. So that's the same music from last night with just a little bit chopped out. So it shouldn't trigger anything tonight. And why didn't it trigger the other night? It's just the wacky weirdness. Wacky weirdness. After game music. Yeah, I don't know. Well, if somebody's copyrighted it though, right? For example, even on Twitch, I streamed Half-Life on Twitch, and a lot of the music got muted because it's been copyrighted. And this was on Twitch, not YouTube. So, hey, But in the meantime, I'm yawning just a little bit. YouTube gets a bit ridiculous with the copyright moderation. Yeah, they don't want to. They're a lot more strict. Make sure you see who's Yeah. But it doesn't matter though. Mar, we're generally only talking like a little bit of something, and I don't care. Just and here's the interesting thing. So for example, with Gabriel Knight. With Gabriel Knight 2, there was a little bit of music that was used before the opera, which is copyrighted music. But I was given the option to have the music itself deleted. Like they can basically use AI to remove the music. So the voices and stuff, like if I was talking, my voice would still be there, but the music would be removed. But for the thing last night, I couldn't do that. It doesn't work very well from what I'm saying. It sounds weird, yes, but it gets rid of the music though. That's the main thing. And it worked. And it worked okay. And yes, there are some bullshit claims and all of that, but why take a risk? I don't see the point. There's no reason to take a risk, and who cares? You know? So anyway, it's dealt with. I didn't mean to get into a big discussion about copyrights and stuff like that. I was just saying. The thing that I found that was interesting was the fact that it wasn't found the other day, but it was found yesterday. Yeah, the music removal worked fine on the other one. But I wasn't able to do it on this. It wouldn't let me because it was a copyright. Like the people that are behind the copyright, basically, they don't want you to remove whatever. It's just you got to go. So because this was in the box hype segment of the thing, like the break, it didn't matter. So I just got them to chop out the audio. Big deal. So if you watch the VOD on YouTube, if you watch it on Twitch, there's no problem. You watch it on YouTube, and there'll be a little jump, but you probably won't even notice it. You know. Yeah, the removal works pretty decently, and it's a solution, and who cares? You know, like basically most of the time this is going to happen if it's music that I use. You know, that's what it was for this. But if it's music that's in the game, and the thing is that the game, like Gabriel Knight, the game music was generally fine, but there was a song that was used that was not created for the game. There was in two spots. There was one that he was doing when he was typing. There was music that he was listening to when he was typing at the beginning of the game. That struck. And then there was music that they were listening to before the opera. So we just did the removal thing, and Bob's your uncle, you know. So it's not that big a deal. I don't think. I just find it curious that the bots didn't discover it last Monday, but it did yesterday. Well, it certainly won't find it tonight because I it didn't take long. It's just I just went to the exact point in the video that they were concerned about, and I went to the MP3 that I have of my break music, and I just took out that little segment and saved it, and now hooray, hurrah, hooroo. All good. He says as he scratches his head. So there you go. What else is there I was going to say? I don't remember. So I think the naproxen thing was a thing. Definitely, now that I'm not on the naproxen stuff, I seem to be a lot more awake and alert. Not doing the Voltaren, that seemed to help me for today, but I've been good all day. And like I say, with the Voltaren stuff, I think it's mainly because I was using it on my shoulder and neck. So it's much easier, it gets absorbed in my skin. It's definitely going to get absorbed in my brain, you know, somehow. So I just didn't use it today. And it seemed fine. So, but now I'm yawning. Kitties. There's kitties out there running around in the kitchen. A little bit. Oh, and by the way, see my neck? See? That's left over from yesterday. Another couple days, it'll all be gone. So there. And next time I shave, I'll change my razor blade. What else did I do? Let's see. I have a beard trimmer thing. I got a new replacement blade for that. I got that coming. Some new earplugs, because the old ones that I've had the ones that I've had for quite some time, and I think they're starting to irritate my ears. So I get some new earplugs coming. Get some new sleep masks coming. There you go. And the wall anchors for the resistance bands. So it should all be here in a week or so. Yay. So let's see if I can say this without it stirring up shit like it did before. I don't know why. So I've decided, like I say, I've decided that I'm not going to get a gym membership. I'd like to get a gym membership, but I don't know how well it's going to work, especially come wintertime and that. And just getting there and getting home and whatnot, especially if, if work picks up, it's going to be awkward. Mar, you don't have to tell me these things because I'm not stupid. Of course I'm going to put it into the stud. Of course I am. Sorry, I don't, but yes, of course I'm going to screw them into studs. Please, dear God. Into the wall anchors. I don't think I said drywall anchors, and even if I did, there's drywall all over, and there's studs in behind. Would you like me to show you some of the stud finders I've got? I've only got 3 stud finders. I can't talk about anything without getting. No, I don't mean you, Marin. I don't mean you. All I'm doing is just talking stuff. I'm just saying, yeah, no, I'm going to do this. Yeah, some super magnets at the end of the ball and hook them to the siding. Yeah. No, you want to get a stud finder, and I've got 3 to make sure that you put them into studs. You see the thing behind me? I built those. Those are all into studs. All those movies that are up on the wall, all that shelving, they're all put onto studs. They're hooked into those 2x4s that I've used all over there are welded to the wall. They're not coming down. And believe me, I'm not gonna just screw a couple of things into a bare drywall without making sure that there's a stud behind that the screw can go in. And I'm definitely going to use a long enough screw. And if the screws in the thing are not at least 2.5 inches long, I'm not using them. Now I can't just talk about stuff on the internet. I know, it's just, Anyway, my apologies for jumping down your throat there, Mar. But but better than the original door frame for your parents' front door, held in place by friction and a prayer. Should have won. No. So this is the Franklin sensor. This is one of the ones that I got. This is the Franklin sensor. Okay. That also has electrical detectors, current detectors. Right? So you don't screw into a power line because I'm not stupid. Okay. And I've got a couple of other ones that are smaller, more a little ones, but this one I got specifically for that very, very purpose, right? The other ones have it too. So, uh, I just want to, I just want to talk stuff. Rogers cable was they screwed through the bedroom wall and to the main hydro stack outside. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's just say I'll be fine. Everything's going to be good. Uh, I just like to be able to just talk and just mention things and not have to defend things and explain stuff. Uh, how the dude didn't die is beyond me. It was the main feed to the house. Number one, he didn't have one of those. Oh, the other thing too, I'll make sure I have fresh batteries in it too. I'll make sure that the batteries in it are fresh. Everything will be fine. Uh, I'm going to run the ads and then stop talking about stuff. And then we can get into box hype and movie hype and all of that stuff. Okay, so here come the ads. Yo. Yeah. Yeah. 2 AA batteries. Or AAA. 2 AAA batteries. I've got loads. What's that? Amazon said they'd give you a refund and then they denied it without telling you that faulty alarm. So they got to call the company and they said, sorry, you were told that. What was that for? What was that for, Mar? The faulty alarm. Oh, the smoke alarm. Oh, yeah. So they don't have anything to do with it. It's a warranty thing, I guess, eh? So it's a warranty issue or something? It was outside the refund window. Well, it should still be backed by the company, though. I mean, they should at least be able to, at the very least, exchange it. Oh, so is he then? No. Okay. Got to call the maker. Yeah. Well, they should defend it. They should accept it. I mean, those things should be good for like 10 years. They should exchange it. Yeah. At the very least they should exchange it for a functioning one. Oh, sorry, the ads are done. The ads are done. Excuse me. I have a box and some movies. The company should make it right. The company should make it right because after all, they're selling a product that is supposed to save your life. Yeah. It'll all work out in fine. They're selling a product that's supposed to help save your life in a dire emergency. And if it's not functioning properly, that's a problem with the device. Yeah. So if the thing is going off for no reason whatsoever, that's not good. So they should back their the warranty on it because it's so if it might have been 6 months, but those things should have a warranty for like at least a few years. Thank you, Mr. Airden. Yeah. Anyway, I got a box and some movies. I'll show you the box and the movies, and then we'll get back to beating that sucker of a game there. That thing there. Garrison's fine. Oh, you got it. Yeah, so, well, Garrison, right? All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure it's Garrison. Garri or SSON or SON or whatever. Garrison. Probably. I've got one. Anyway, yeah. You see, I do know some things. Like I say, I'm not a complete idiot. Okay. Yeah, the Garrison. Yeah, exactly. I've got one here too, but I mean, and I still use it. I still use the Garrison one, but even though I don't have the other ones are first alert ones or whatever they are. I forget what they're called. Anyway, hey there, CoreTube. Anyway, this is a fine collection of things. This is the Interplay 15th anniversary. Breathing is okay. First alert is the one false alarm. Well, I'll wait till the festivities are over and then I'll try and talk about the game. Anyway, be sure to follow CoreTube. Hey, you know. No, it's okay. No, 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 no problem. No problem. Did you give CoreTube a shout out? There you go. Thank you, Nathan. Um, Anyway, look, this is the 15th anniversary Interplay collection of 15 Interplay games, one from each year of their anniversary. And it's quite the collection of games, I say. Let's see. The easiest way to do this. I'll try it this way. Let's see if I go over here. See if I can go up the box here. You got Battle Chess and Beat the House. Okay. The casino game. There's Castles 2. Conquest of the New World Deluxe. There's Descent. There's Dragon Wars. Yo. Dragon Wars. And let's see if we can do it this way. Fallout. It's quite the collection, really. North by Northwest, the Lost Vikings 2. MAX. Redneck Rampage. Shattered Steel. Solitaire Deluxe. Stone Keep. Virtual Pool. And Whiplash. All 15 complete games. Like I say, one for each year, I think, of their 15th anniversary. In one big giant collection, it is. It's. And if I recall, I think it was like $49 or whatever it was at the time. Anyway, it came in a bunch of. Let's see, which one is which? Two collections of CDs there. They just put Redneck Rampage in the preservation program. Okay, this is disc 4, 5, and 6. Which has Virtual Pool, Redneck Rampage, and Shattered Steel. Battle Chess, Whiplash. North by Northwest. Conquest of the New World, and MAX. Hey there, Max Dean. How are you? Howdy, howdy. And then there's disc 1, 2, and 3. 3 CDs give you all the games in their entirety. And there's Fallout and Stone Keep and Descent and Beat the House and Solitaire Deluxe and Castles 2, etc., etc. Some little installation instruction thingy. And then there's the usual Interplay Productions reference and troubleshooting guide. But the meat of the box is this monster of a book. This is all of the instruction manuals for all of the games, all in the one massive book. That's a lot of stuff. But all of them. And they have a system so that you can only install. Never saw this collection? Hey. They had another one, I think, for the 20th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken, too. Excuse me. But it's cool because you can install whatever game you want, and it'll tell you which disc it's on, and then it'll install it. I don't think any of these games. I don't think any of these games have copy protection or anything. You don't have the CD in. They just install to the hard drive and you're done. Box was tossed out. But anyway, it's a cool setup, and you can install whichever games you want. You put any one of the discs in. You put any one of the discs in, and you go to install, and it'll give you a list of the games, and then you choose the game you want to install, and then it'll tell you, please insert disc 4 or whatever, and then whoop, and then it'll install it. You don't have to install all the games, you know. But anyway, it's a cool package, cool box. I'm gonna put it up here so the cat doesn't chew it up because the cat's being a jerk with the boxes lately. I got some movies. I would love to have this movie in 4K. The collection's nice, yeah. You got it in the 2010, so you could have a copy of Stone Keep. Well, I still have my original Stone Keep box that I got when the game came out, but still, it was nice to have this. This is Batman the movie. I would love to see a 4K version of this. Because I think it would look great. One thing about this show was that because it was done in such an old school comic way, it was all basically done with solid colors, you know, and bright, flashy colors and whatnot. It was very much a product of the 60s. And also, I think this movie is somewhat underrated in a lot of ways. It's certainly not the serious Dark Knight style Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan movies, you know, where they became more adult. These were definitely more based on the early comic book sort of style and tended more towards a slightly goofy sort of theater of the absurd kind of portrayal of the, you know, you never took this seriously. All of the guys in the costumes, whether it was the Joker or the Riddler or whoever, and of course the Batman himself, and they didn't get into the seriousness of how Batman became Batman. And as a matter of fact, I don't think in the TV show they even do that. They just start, and there's Batman and there's Commissioner Gordon and Chief. Oh man, I forget the Chief's name. Anyway, I still to this day think that every single Joker, O'Hara, that's it, Mr. Aridon, that's right, O'Hara, Chief O'Hara. Every single Joker that came after Cesar Romero was influenced by Cesar Romero. I don't care which one you talk about. You could argue about who's the best. Heath Ledger would probably be an easy win. Jack Nicholson was a great Joker, you know, all of that stuff. And they all had their own way of doing it. But Cesar Romero's Joker was iconic. And even though it was the sillier of the Jokers, it was quite an outstanding, I think, performance, an outstanding caricature that certainly, like I say, influenced everyone afterwards. And the Riddler, Frank Gorshin's Riddler, is the best Riddler of any of the Riddlers that there ever were. Better than the Jim Carrey one. And Burgess Meredith's Penguin, you know, all of the various different actors. When this show came out, when this TV show was on, there were tons of people, tons of actors. This was, well, actually, to back up for a second, this show, when it was on television, was like Beatlemania. Everything was Batman. The other thing about this show is that it came on twice a week. This show used to come on Thursdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I recall. I think those were the days. But the show was on twice a week, and they always had the two-part episodes and whatnot. And this show was incredibly popular. To the point, like I say, where loads of people did guest appearances on the show. It was, but the thing is, I think it burned out fairly quickly. They did 3 seasons, I believe, in total. And after the second season, lots of awesome cameos. Yep, Johnny Carson was a cameo in it. I think Don Rickles at one point. They used to have a lot of cameos when they would be climbing up buildings. They'd be climbing up on the ropes on the side of the buildings, and people would stick their heads out the window and talk to them and stuff. But anyway, the show died down pretty quick. And as a matter of fact, there was plans for the movie, and while they were making the movie, the show was canceled. So they still continued and finished the movie and put out the movie, and it did okay. But the show was already canceled, and all of the fuss about the show had died down completely. But I still find this movie is entertaining and fun, and just as goofy as the TV show. And plus, yeah, I'm glad they did too. And also, this has a great commentary from Adam West and Burt Ward, talking about the making of the movie and all of that stuff. Great commentary, some good special features and whatnot. But it's just a fabulous show, I think, and a really, really fun movie. And it's easy to discard this when you look at the newer Batman things and how they changed the feel and made them more serious and whatnot. But I don't know. Maybe because it was part of my childhood and whatnot. When ABC canceled it, NBC came with the checkbook in hand to get the show, but all the big sets had already been destroyed. Yep. Yeah, too bad. But hey. But they were still, they still went to conventions, and Adam West was as popular as ever. Burt Ward, both of them. Long after the show was gone. So they still had careers afterwards, And then, and finally, I've got this, which is another movie that I've shown loads of times. I've got 2 versions of this. This is Amadeus. Now, for the longest time, I used to have and I've said that I've talked about this before, but I'll mention it again. For the longest time, the only version of Amadeus theatrical edition was the DVD. And when the Blu-ray edition of it came out with the director's cut, they dropped the theatrical edition. And there was no way to get it other than on the DVD. So and this is a great looking version. This is the Blu-ray edition, the Digibook version. Loads of special features. It looks fabulous, but it's only the director's cut of Amadeus, which in many ways I find is inferior to the theatrical edition. There's a couple of things in the director's cut which does expand on some of the things in the original theatrical version, but there's a lot of stuff that they added in the director's cut which just bloat the movie out, are totally unnecessary, and drag the movie down a bit to me. I think that the theatrical version is a lot tighter, works better. But for the longest while, this was the only version of the movie that was available unless you got the DVD. And this was only the director's cut, which is kind of a drag. But oh well. I mean, it was still a good movie, and I still watched it anyway, even though it was. But it's surprising that they didn't include. It's surprising that they didn't include the theatrical version, but they didn't. So oh well. But anyway, It's also got a special CD of music from the film. This movie, interestingly enough, when this movie came out, sales of Mozart symphonies and works went way up. This movie introduced a lot of people to the music of Mozart, and rightly so, of course. But anyway, since then, we now have the 4K edition of Amadeus, which is only the theatrical edition. I've heard that Milos Forman, the director of Amadeus, they call this thing the director's cut, but it wasn't his favorite cut. That he preferred the theatrical edition, but this was just a way that they put it together, and they called it a director's cut. But this is the theatrical edition in 4K, which looks fabulous, and it has the making of, which is really good, but no director's cut. And I'm kind of glad there isn't, because to be honest, I wouldn't watch it now. And now this is the only version that I would watch. If they, I think the director's cut is, well. Let me just check something here. Looking at the. I don't know if it says here. I forget what the running time is. But there's got to be a good 20 minutes, half hour added to the director's cut, probably. Actually, maybe I should look this up rather than just. Yeah, here we go. The running time was 161 minutes. Now, let me just see if that was the director's cut. Yeah, restored 20 minutes of footage. Yeah. And from 2002 to 2025, this was the only widely available release. It's not clear whether Foreman's director's cut represented his actual artistic vision. Foreman defended the 20 minutes of cuts in his 1993 autobiography Turnaround, and repeated his defense of the 1995 supplemental material for the Laserdisc. The director's cut has been come under severe criticism, in part because it displaced the theatrical edition instead of complementing it. Yeah. Ryan Johnson argued that the director's cut is bizarrely a sort of inverse masterclass in editing. It shows exactly why the cuts were made in the first place and how they made the film work. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Yeah, Roger Ebert noted that the cut was part of a broader wave of director cuts on home video, which he characterized as a mixed blessing. Most of the additional sequences were either redundant or unnecessary and broke up the lively flow between scenes. Yeah. Some of the additional scenes, and on the other hand, critics have recognized the merits of some of the additional scenes. Ebert and Robinson agreed that the added scenes better explain Constanza's hatred for Salieri, which is true. Although Robinson questioned whether that subplot actually required a scene with a character topless, right? The subplot in featuring the Salieri obsessed singer, that was a good point, yeah. But overall, the director's cut bloated the movie. You know, in my opinion, anyway. So, at least now, you have the option of getting the original, which is, to me, a much, much tighter, much better film. This one is still okay. It's not bad, and it's watchable and whatnot, but a lot of it is just, There's one scene in particular where Mozart gets a job teaching some kid, and the parents are there, and there's dogs all over the place, and all that scene is done. The whole point of that one scene is just to show that Mozart has to teach these children to be able to make money, because he can't do the big shows that he wants, because they don't get enough performances and whatnot. So he's got to teach these kids. And this one scene just sort of like bloated out, sort of explains that sort of thing, but you didn't need to have it. And it was unnecessary. And there were a number of scenes like that, I think. But anyway, there's a good example of where a director's cut is not an improvement. One of the other ones that I always mention when I talk about this is when it comes to Lord of the Rings. I think that the extended editions of Lord of the Rings are good, but in my opinion, personally, it's only the first one, the Fellowship of the Ring, that is improved in the extended cut. The extended version of the first movie, I think, is superior to the theatrical edition. The second movie is way overlong with the extended edition. There's too much stuff going on, and it bloats it out way too much to me. But so I would prefer the theatrical one, and there isn't anything that's added to that second one that really I find is necessary or anything. And in the third movie, I don't think there's that much of a difference really. But like I say, the first movie though, I think it improves a hell of a lot. It adds a lot of backstory that actually helps the movie and makes it work better. There's the one scene in particular where Aragorn and Sean Bean's character, when they meet and they're talking about the sword, that's not in the theatrical one. That's definitely a good example. Oh, I watch the extended editions as well. Boromir, thank you. Finch, I watch the extended editions too, regardless. But I don't think that the extended editions of the second movie is necessarily better, but I still watch it. But when it comes to this, I probably won't watch this anymore. I'll only watch the theatrical edition of this. Apocalypse Now is another good example. I still prefer the theatrical version. I still prefer the theatrical edition of Apocalypse Now to the final cut or the Redux version. Big time. I think the original theatrical edition is perfect. You worked with Sean Bean on Snowpiercer. Wild. What did you do on Snowpiercer, Jet Puff Brown? That's a fabulous movie. Oh, you were in the movie? Cool. Oh, the series. Right. Okay. I only saw one episode of the series. It looked pretty good. I didn't see anything else. I heard the series was actually not bad. I don't think it lasted, unfortunately, but yeah, the movie is brilliant. The movie's brilliant, and the series, I saw one episode of it, I think, and it seemed fine, you know. But yeah, the Apocalypse Redux just adds too much crap. It adds too much unnecessary crap that just doesn't, you know. And also, sorry about Apocalypse Now. One particular thing they do in that movie, which I really didn't like, was after the Robert Duvall sequence, they steal his surfboard. Yeah, Sean made the series and Jennifer Connelly. Yeah. Uh, they steal Robert Duvall's surfboard, and then Robert Duvall and his guys are chasing them, trying to get the surfboard back, and they're sort of joking and clowning, and Willard is laughing about it and all of that. That whole scene, I think, really did not belong at all because it really lightened up the character. Willard's character worked way better when he was just bleak and sort of depressed the entire way through the movie. And that one scene sort of humanized him to a point where he seemed to be a little jolly and having fun with the guys. I thought that scene really did not belong. And and they kept it in the final cut as well as in the Redux. And that's one of the scenes that I just thought, oh, that just doesn't work. It didn't belong at all, you know. And there were a number of different scenes like that. Yeah, the surfboards, it disrupts their momentum. There's the scene in the Redux version where they meet up with the Playboy bunnies later on, and that whole scene just stops the movie dead in its tracks, you know. And then the plantation scene is interesting, but unnecessary. I actually like I like that scene, but it doesn't add to the movie at all, really. It's just a nice scene, and it's interesting, but again, it stops the movie dead in its tracks. Because right after that, that's when they meet up with Kurtz and all that, right? So the original version of the movie, the theatrical version, is the one to see still to this day, in my opinion, you know. But there were a lot of to give you another example of a movie that was tremendously improved, I'll give you two examples where the original movies were not great, but the theatrical versions were not great, but the director's cut massively better. One is Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven. Blade Runner was improved, definitely. That's a third one, actually. I wasn't going to say Blade Runner. Blade Runner's improved in the later editions, definitely. I agree. Kingdom of Heaven, the original theatrical version's okay, but a lot of the movie is missing. And the director's cut fills in tons of the stuff. Yeah. Yeah. The final cut of Blade Runner is great. And here's one out of the blue. Daredevil. The theatrical version of Daredevil is pretty crummy. But the director's cut of it is actually a lot better. It's actually a much better movie. Yeah. The theatrical version is chopped up. It doesn't have any kind of flow to it. That you don't identify with the characters. Half of the plot is sort of missing. And the director's cut of Daredevil is a much, much better movie. It's much more complete, more consistent, you know. It's like a whole different movie. 100% better, yeah. 100% better. Jurassic World Dominion, the extended cut, is better than what was shown in the cinema. It could be, right? You know, it all depends on who's involved with that stuff, right? And why they get rid of the things. And anyway, sorry, I'm gonna run the ads here now so we can get back to the game because I'm a mope. Okay. So ads are gonna run. Ah, here they come, and then we can get back to the game. But yeah, there was a point in time when that seemed to be the running thing, was to always put the movie on DVD or on Blu-ray and extend it, add in more material so it was different, you know, and it didn't always make it better. As a matter of fact, most of the time it just didn't. But those are good examples, I think, where the director's cuts were better. Dark City, that's another one. Dark City, the director's cut of Dark City. The original Dark City is really good, but the director's cut is even better. Hula poop. Makes me wonder how David Lynch Dune, yeah. Had they been able to convince him before his death to release the director's cut? I don't know if he had a director's cut version specifically. I don't know if he had an actual if he had the actual film. I mean, I know that the version that's in the theaters is not the version he made, but I don't think he had a copy of the movie. I don't think he had any say in it. The studios. Yeah, because the I've always said the theatrical version, the Dune movie, the original David Lynch Dune movie, for me, doesn't work unless you read the books. Or at least if you read the book, you could follow the movie. If you never read the book, a lot of that movie just blows past people because, like the first third of the book is over in like 15 minutes. Superman 2 is the better one. Yep. I agree totally. Uh, Conquest for the Planet of the Apes. There's a good one. Conquest for the Planet of the Apes is there's a the director's cut of that by F. Lee Thompson is a much better version of the movie. It's more violent. It has a much darker tone to it. Much better. It's a totally different movie, really, in many ways, because it's a lot bleaker. And the movie worked better because it was bleaker. Okay. We got to get this game done. So I'm going to go back to this. Going to go back to that.